Hello there, net neighbor, and welcome to this Abstruse Decapod feature of Table Scraps that looks at tabletop, board, card, dice, and role-playing games. As always, I'm JP, and this is a retrospective review for the WWF Wrestling Stars game from Milton Bradley, The Key to Fun, for 2 to 4 players age 8 to 14. Please take a moment to get comfortable, and I'll go ahead and start this tour de force. My copy is a little worse for wear, being originally bought off the shelf a year or so after its 1985 publishing run, and I've had it ever since. Not kept in the most pristine of conditions, but that was beyond my control for many years. However, it still has held up well overall. I didn't play it much really, though maybe a dozen times total, maybe half that. Maybe you'll see why in a bit. This game features 12 of the World Wrestling Federation stars from a long time ago in the Hogan era, before the company changed its name to World Wrestling Entertainment and initials to WWE. On the back here, there are the contents: 1 game board, 12 stack cards, red and white plastic score pegs, 8 plastic pawn stands, 8 dice, and 1 plastic marker pawn, used to keep track of whose turn it is, because, you know, in board games, it's hard to remember that. It's a trademark of Titan Sports way before the WWE name change. I wonder if that's void now, or if somebody else can pick it up, or what. Dice colors may vary, but there are a ton of dice. Originally, I have a feeling the dice colors will vary a lot if I know me at all. But the back shows what the game is supposed to look like. Stand-up chipboard pawns, a bit more sturdy than the cardboard. The board, wrestlers, and the rest. So let's turn this around and open it up. First off, I don't know if game companies still do this. I presume they do, or some. Though maybe booklets are more common in board games now, but this is from when the rules to a game were printed on the inside lid or cover of a game box, for easy reference. You know, so you don't have to search for or lose that manual. It's only a couple pages long, but instead you can have the rules always easily at your fingertips. By referring to instructions printed inside of something as big and unwieldy as a folding card table. Top notch. Maybe it's because board game players are too dumb and absent-minded to not lose the rules. I don't know. The tournament rules basically boil down to play to higher values of matches won. Thanks a lot, rules. Anyway, here's the board in all its glory. Tag team spaces. In the corner there, it says, take a favorite hold peg. The move spaces have values you add to your die roll when you challenge an opponent. No surprise, the turn marker pawn is gone. What I would have needed that for, a single pawn, I have no idea. Maybe a cat or dog decided they needed a new chew toy. Who knows? There's the wrestler cards. Aha, only 2 dice. 2 white dice. There's supposed to be 4 sets of 2 dice, each being a different color. Each set being a different color. No game survives contact with me and keeps all its dice. I strike again. And the battleship pegs, of course, are all over the place, like you would expect. Only they're not true battleship pegs, though they're no doubt the same pegs used in Battleship. These actually came with the game. The white ones are pin pegs, and the red ones are match pegs, both placed in their respective sections of a wrestler card and 2 dice. Anyway, back to the board, which has survived surprisingly well and kept its gloss. The game is actually a tag team game. One player controls one team of 2 wrestlers and competes against another team of 2 wrestlers. Actually, up to 4 players can play at the same time, each having his own team of 2 wrestlers. But that does make you need 8 dice, 2 per person. And so I definitely couldn't play it if I had 4 people playing, since I only have 2 dice. Although, you can just share them. One of your pawns goes inside the ring on the top of one of the stars in the corner. That's your inside active wrestler. And your other pawn starts outside in the tag team space. I call him just the outside wrestler. Here are the wrestler pawns, 2 of which go into pawn stands for each player to make up his tag team. They are solid pawns, too. This chipboard is heavy-duty stuff. 12 of the most prominent superstars from yesteryear, represented in full-body photograph poses. The same picture on both sides. From Ricky the Dragon Steamboat to Andre the Giant, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Big John Studd, just all kinds of people. Hulk Hogan, of course. You use the same color bases for both of your tag team partners, which is why there are 8 pawn bases but only 4 colors. 2 of each base being the same color, either red, blue, green, or I think gold or orange or something. Here's my favorite, Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. And he was a great heel also. And I put him in a pawn stand. And let's put the Junkyard Dog in there because that's quite a tag team combination that would never have happened in a million years. So there's my tag team now, though I know the lighting is a bit bad and very hard to see who they are from this angle. I apologize for that. I'm working on improving my lighting conditions. Now, what you do on a turn is roll 2 dice, and you may move the number of spaces with your outside wrestler on either of the dice. It's the player's choice, but you don't add them together. You just add one of the 2. I'll just roll 1 for this example, but you normally roll both dice and just choose 1. I got a 5. Now, I should have already put the track wrestler pawn, Junkyard Dog, outside on the tag team space. But I'm doing that now, and the one in the ring is the active wrestler sitting in his position in the corner, Paul Orndorff. I just moved JYD from his starting tag space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he landed on Pile Driver, which actually is Paul Orndorff's favorite hold. Now, this allows me to take a white favorite hold peg from the box and put it in the favorite hold section of my wrestler card for Paul Orndorff. These can be played or taken from the card and put back in the box to automatically raise your move value to 5, but more on that later. I need to find Paul Orndorff's card now. I should have done this at the start. There he is, right at the bottom. Stay, JYD. I knocked him over, but he's okay. Let's see, Tito Sings. Alright, now, of course, Paul Orndorff is right here. A brief bio of him. Height, weight, favorite hold, 3 peg sections, pins, matches, and favorite holds. These are what the battleship pegs go, obviously. They're not all that difficult to put in, but I wouldn't recommend eating anything greasy while you're playing. They'll be like Quicksilver. Now, once I've done that, there they are. A thick wrestler card with battleship pegs in it. That's pretty much what it looks like, isn't it? Yeah, top notch. Again, look at the very bottom of a wrestler card, and it will tell you what his favorite hold or finisher is. Paul Orndorff's is the Pile Driver. Now let us shift back to the board and the game proper, and I can explain the way the moves and stuff work. In a minute here. Okay, let's get back to the board. When you land on a space, you can choose to challenge an opponent, one of the other wrestlers inside the ring on a corner star position. When you do this, you both add the number of the space you're on and roll a die, with the higher total winning. A pin peg to go in the pin section of your card. Now, as I said, if you play a favorite hold peg before you roll, the challenger can do so first, followed by the opponent. This number on the board is replaced with a value of 5. When you see this, which you then add to your die roll instead. Remember, although I'm using Junkyard Dog in the outside track, the move that's important is not his favorite hold, but the favorite hold of the wrestler inside the ring, which is Paul Orndorff. Now, in this example, JYD landed on Pile Driver, which whenever you land on your active wrestler's hold, you get a, or if you land in the corner tag space, or if you roll doubles, you get a white favorite hold peg for your inside active wrestler. Now, there's only 3 holds on a card, so you can only have 3 at a time. But this 2 stays a 2 anyway. But because it's Orndorff's favorite hold, I got to draw a peg, and can use it now if I want to give myself a 5 here if I want to challenge an opponent. Any other wrestler without Pile Driver as a favorite hold would simply have a 2 for landing there. I would not get a free peg. Though he could still use a favorite hold peg if he already had one, because it's unrelated to what you're on. So again, the game is going around the board collecting favorite hold pegs to help you challenge an opponent. You replenish them by landing in your favorite hold, landing on a tag team, or rolling doubles. Whenever you challenge a wrestler, and either you or the opposing player wins the total roll, one of you gains a white pin peg and puts it in the pin section of his active wrestler's card. When that wrestler gets 3 pegs there, he scored a full pinfall and gets a red match peg, denoting he's won a match. So how do you change wrestlers? By the basic rules, you have to land on a tag team corner space. Advanced rules allow you to switch in and out on your turn. And lastly, by the basic rules, when both of your wrestlers have won a match, you win the game. According to tournament rules, you can change it up and make it where each of your wrestlers have to win 2 matches each or something. But this grained vision you see before you is WWF Wrestling Stars. Game. Unadulterated and unleashed before your very eyes for your nostalgic trivia pleasure. This is pretty much all there is to it. I did scan in the wrestler pawns and board, and may scan in the wrestler cards and such and make them available online as a free download for those curious to see what this game is all about. Thanks for joining me for this look back at an older wrestling board game, one which I have to say, even while as a young lad I could see some promise and loved the presentation, but I always felt disappointed with just how limited and uninspired the actual game mechanics were. Hope to see you again soon.